Now, since I've built up for it, I am going to bolster. So I need to pay a money to do that. I gain 3 combat power now, thanks to my upgrade from last turn. And I am going to pay the 2 metal on that hex. And I'm going to deploy another mech. And I think I would like this one here, the one that will make me move 1 hex extra per movement for my mechs and character. And let's just put that guy on here. We also get 2 money for making the mech. And Automa time, it's going to do combat. So we're going to see some combat now. So the first thing we need to see is here, attack move versus combat unit. So there's a condition. Is its power more than this number? Yes, it's got 14 power and would need 8. So select the combat unit. It's the closest to the Automa's base. So that would make it this mech here. And then it's going to go in the neighborhood of any Automa unit that contains an enemy combat unit. And when we're choosing the destination, we want the one with the fewest enemy combat units. And out of the 2 that are in the neighborhood here, this one's got 2 mechs in it, so it's going to go over here and start some business in my home area. What's it doing? So place the selected unit on the destination hex and resolve combat. Here we go. Here is combat in the solo game. So first, we need to choose our combat power and combat cards. Now, you can spend up to 7 power. I'll just grab the wheel here. You can see on here it goes up to 7. You can spend between 0 and 7 power, and this is paid for from the track here. Then we need to choose which cards we're playing. I can play as many as there are combat units on this space, so I'm only going to be able to play 1 card. And I don't know what the combat power or the number of cards that the enemy will play, like in the real game. So this isn't the card, this is the card that made it do the action, but we will draw a card in a second that says how much power the Automa is going to use and which cards it's going to use. But before any of this happens, I have a special ability. Before combat, I can steal one of the opponent's cards at random. And so a 3 is gone, but it could still have 4s and 5s. It's got 2 cards. Okay. And it could play both of them. So I don't really want to lose this combat. I don't want to lose this space. My workers and everything would go back to my home base. And if I can win the combat, you get a star for winning combat. But I can't tie with him, as the attacker would win ties. But I don't know, he could spend 7 and have two 5s in his hand that he plays. And I couldn't compete with him if he did that. But I do have a 5 card myself, so I'm going to play that. And how much combat power do I want to spend? I haven't got that much. I think I'll spend 6. I'm quite worried about this. But if we do lose, we get a combat card, so it's not too bad. So that would tuck, there we go, that tucks under there. So I'm spending 6, and I have 5 on that card there. And we can reduce my power now, just so I remember. So now, we draw the first card of the deck, and this is going to go in a different discard pile as well. We only look at this bottom part here. So, how much power has the Automa got? It's got 14, so it's going to spend 7 and play a combat card. Okay, so let's spend 7 power, and let's grab the wheel for the Automa. So it's got 7, and a combat card. It just plays a random one from these 2, and it's only played 2. So its combat power is 9 to my 11. So I've overspent a little bit, but I was quite worried about what the Automa would do here. So he has lost combat. So these cards both go away. He gets a card for losing combat, and that's a secret. Now, his mech that he initiated combat with, it doesn't happen like I said, if I lost, they would go back to my home base. His go back to his mat. And for winning a combat, I get to put my first star on the board up here. And, more importantly, my workers and mech are okay on this space. So all that was just part of the movement step. So now we can come here. He is going to gain a coin and a worker. He can't gain a worker because all of his are on the board. And if I had the popularity and list bonus, I would get that. The star tracker does not advance. And the reason we have 2 discard piles, so this discard pile was for the combat card, is so that you can still look at the main discard pile and see how many steps you should have moved for the star tracker, so you can check that you haven't missed one. So, after all that, we can go back to our turn. And I think I would like to do some movement. Do I want to? I can't bolster again. I think I would like to do some movement. Yeah. So the first thing I want to move definitely is my character over here. And when your character enters this space, they stop and resolve an encounter. So we grab this, and this is really nice. There's this really nice evocative painting here, and we make the story from the choice that we make and the things that we can see here. So we can spend a day planting crops at a farm to earn some goodwill. That would get us 2 food and a popularity. We can dislodge a stubborn plough and earn a favour from the farmers. We can pay 2 money to gain a worker and any 2 resources. That sounds nice. Or we can pay 2 popularity to enlist a recruit by salting the earth and forcing the farmers to enlist. Oh dear. I think in the situation we're in, I would like to do this section here. Pay 2 money to gain a worker and any 2 resources. So I'm going to pay 2 cash there. I gain a worker, and I'll place that worker up here. And any 2 resources. I'm going to gain 2 wood. And that's because once the whole move action's done, I will be able to pay 2 wood and a card to build a structure. So my second move, I think I'm just going to move a worker back onto this farm here. So that's all done. Now, do we want to build a structure? Yes, we do. I'm going to pay 2 wood that I just got, and my lowest card, which is a 2. And now I can build a structure. The structures are these here. There is 1 for each action. They are going to basically uncover a special bonus whenever I take that action in the future, and they are worth points at the end of the game, and they will count as me owning a territory. If I have nobody in there, but I still have a structure in there, I still control that territory as long as an enemy doesn't come in there. And if we look at the bonus for this game, there are several of these in the box that are randomly given out at the start of the game. So I will get bonus points for every structure that is on either a farm or tundra. And the more I have, the more bonus money I could get at the end of the game. I think I'm quite low on popularity, so I would like to build this monument, which is going to give me popularity whenever I take the bolster action, and I will place it here on this farm. Because now there is a worker there, it has to be placed where there's a worker. And I gain 2 money for building. So now let's see what the Automa does. It's going to move a worker. That worker is going to be taken from the home base, and this is definitely the one surrounded by the most units, so it's going to take that. Then gain 2 combat power and a worker. Can't gain a worker because they are all on the board, but it gets combat power. And I would get the popularity enlist bonus, which unfortunately I do not have. The star tracker advances 1 more time. So now over to me. I would like to produce, which is going to cost me a combat power and a popularity. So I'm only on 2 popularity right now, which is not good at all, but I need resources to do things. So I'm going to produce 2 metal there, and for my other production I'm going to put 2 oil on here, and I can't enlist, so I can't get this bonus either. So let's see what the Automa does. He is going to move a mech. Let's see, there we go, yes, the mech that's closest to the Automa's base, which is actually this one here. And it's going to move in the neighborhood of any Automa unit, shortest distance from enemy combat units. So it's going to move from here to here, basically. Then he gains 4 combat power. Oh no, it's a 13 and a worker, which he can't, but I gain a combat card. And then we advance the star tracker. So he's 1 away from getting another star. So now I have gotten all of these things off of my player mat, I am going to bolster. I need to pay a money. I'm going to gain 3 combat power, so I'm up to 7 now. I'm going to gain a popularity, back at my starting 3, and then I'm going to pay the 2 metal that I just gained. I'm going to deploy a mech. Let's just put it out here as a kind of deterrent. And I have just placed all of my mechs, so I can put another star on the board. I also gain 2 money. Now the Automa, they are going to move a mech, and I don't think they can move a mech, because it would have to be this mech and it would move further away, so I don't think it's going to move. Instead, they gain 2 combat power, so they're at 15, so close to another star, but they do gain a mech, so there is going to be mech movement next time. And I get a combat power because I have that enlist bonus. And we advance them on the star tracker. They have got their 2nd star. So now I think I would like to trade. And since I have such low popularity, I'm going to pay the money to gain a popularity. So I'm at 4 now. So I'm going to need that popularity if I want to keep producing. And now I'm going to pay my 2 oil from that space, and my lowest combat card happens to be a 3, so let's pay that as the 3rd one. And now I can take the upgrade action again. I am going to take this cube away so we can produce on 3 different hexes now. And then I'm going to place this here so it will be easier to build structures in the future. I also get a combat power as my enlist bonus there. So I'm at 9. The Automa, let's see, they're not that faction, so they are going to go for an encounter. And the encounter will be over here. It also moves the character closer to me. Then it's going to gain a combat card and 2 money, and I do not gain anything. And we move the star tracker one more time. So now I would like to bolster. I'm going to pay a money, get 3 combat power and a popularity, so I'm now at 5. And there is nothing to be done in this bottom section because I have all of my mechs. Now the Automa definitely wants a fight. It's going to do a combat move against one of my combat units if it has at least 1 combat power, and it definitely does. So, same as before. It's going to take the mech from all the way back here at the home base, and it's going to pick this one because it has the least combat units. Although it is 1 mech taking on the mech and the character. And so I have to pick before I know anything about this. And same as last time, I'm just as worried, but I was hoping to get all the way up to the top for here. I don't want to lose this space. I don't want everyone to go back, do I? I'm not sure how important this combat is. I'm so close to this and putting a star on there, but winning the combat would put a star on there, so maybe we should just go all out. I've got 2 units there, so I can play 2 combat cards. Let's really go for this. But first, before combat, I get to steal a card randomly from the Automa player. And let's take this one. That is another 3. Should we just spend 7? I could spend 6. Hedge my bets. So I could spend 2 4 cards, so that's 8 right there. I think let's spend 7. Let's play it safe. So 7 and these 2. So this is the most I can possibly spend on combat. So let's move me down back to 5. Oh dear. And let's see what Automa is going to do. He's over 14, so he's going to spend 7 and 2 combat cards. I hope I win after all of that. So 7 combat, and both of his combat cards, which are 2s. So, oh dear, this means I've overspent by 4 this time. But more importantly, I have won the combat. So all of these cards go away. The Automa gets 1 back. I think this has been a really useful ability so far, being able to steal his combat cards. So that means he had 2 2s and a 3. So he hasn't been drawing the great ones. So he's got his combat card back. His mech goes back to his player mat. I have won another combat, but I have given up, pretty much given up on this race for this star here. And I think that is it for combat. So next, it's going to gain a money. And as an enlist bonus, I get a combat card, which is good because I just spent a lot of mine. It's just a 2. And we don't advance the star. So now I'm going to produce. So I have to pay a combat power and a popularity. I'm back to 4 on both of those, and I can pick 3 hexes to produce from. Well, I want to produce a worker there because there is no extra cost from producing 1 more worker. Then I would like the 2 oil from up on this space. And we don't need steel, we have the mechs. So let's just produce a food there. And I haven't got the food to do this, so that is the end of that. The Automa is going to move a worker because it is this faction. So a worker from its base, and this is in the area of the most things. It's going to gain 3 combat power back. Actually, it should have lost 7, so it should be on 8 plus 3. Then it can't gain a worker. I gain a card as an enlist bonus. It's another 2. And I can move along on the star track one more time. Well, not me. He moves along the star track, and he's about to gain another star. And remember, the game is over when someone places their 6th. I have 3 on the board at the moment. He has 2. So I am going to bolster. I need to pay a money, and I will gain some much needed combat power and a popularity. So I am at 5 on popularity, and there's no mechs to be built. The Automa is going to move a worker. It's worker that is furthest away, and I think, there we go, it's surrounded by 3 there, so it will go on that space. They gain 2 money, I gain a combat power, and no star movement. So now I am going to trade. So I pay a money. I'm going to produce 2 wood, so I can get ready to build a structure sometime soon. Then I have 2 oil here, so I'm going to pay that 2 oil with a low combat card, and then I can do the upgrade action again. So I would like to move more things. I could move more things with this action, and then we could make upgrading cheaper or enlisting cheaper, because we're close to doing those things. Let's make upgrading cheaper. And because I upgraded, I get a combat power. Automa's turn. They're going to move a worker again, and it's going to be this one here. And the neighborhood of the most is, let's see, it's going to be this one closest to the factory. They gain 4 combat power, which again puts them on 50, and they've been there before. I gain 1 on the other hand, and they are going to gain their next star. So they have a lot more territories than me at the moment. Maybe I need to do something about that. So I am going to move, and I can now move 3 things. So I am going to move, the first move is going to be over here. I can move +1 hex because of my speed bonus, and I'm now controlling the factory. It's surprising that it's worked out so the Automa has never gone on there. I now control the factory. So now I can grab the factory cards, and I can pick one of these as basically a permanent action that I can do in the future. So I don't think I want these, because I would be paying popularity to gain nice things, but so this costs popularity, but I could enlist. Wow. I could enlist or upgrade, and they are things that I am quite close to doing. I think I want this one to spend some combat cards. So let's get rid of the other 2. And this is a permanent space now where I can place my marker and do this action. I think this is definitely going to be a movement, because I don't need 2 people on there. I only have 1 worker left to produce. And should we use some combat? We could clear some of these off the spaces and prepare for some more. So I'd like to get wood so I can keep building the structures. We could move these guys. These can river walk onto tundra and then move a hex extra. So they can move basically in this little shape here and go on this space. And I've managed to get myself up here on combat power again, but I've got a feeling I'm going to waste it all again. So let's see. I can only spend 1 card, and my highest is a 3. So do I want to spend 7 again? This is risky. He could have a better card than me and spend 7, and then I've just got no chance. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. Okay, spending everything I've got again. So 7 power puts me back down to 3. And let's see what he's going to do. Let's draw a card. He is going to spend 7 because he's on 15 and 2 cards, but he only has 1. And, oh, wait a minute. Let's backtrack a second. I have seen it, but this isn't really cheating. I can steal a card from him at random, and that's his only card. So I know that at most, it was a 2, by the way. I know at most he can only spend 7. So what if I spend 4 plus the 3 card, so I should go back up 3. And then I know that no matter what he does, he can't beat that, because draws are won by the attacker. So as expected, he spent 7. He has no cards to spend, so I win that combat. So his thing goes back to his mat. He has now lost that territory, and I have it. And because I have conquered a territory that would produce things, we look at the last card that was drawn, the top of the discard pile. It has 1 resource on it, so this is thought to have had 1 resource in it, so it has 1 wood. And I believe that's all my movement, so I can now pay 2 wood. Let's pay 1 from here and 1 from back here. And I can build another structure, and it's going to be... So the armory would be nice at building back the power. I think the mill, though, I would like to produce more stuff. So the mill is going to be built on this tundra because we want them built on farms or tundra. And I get 2 money for doing that. And for losing combat, the Automa should get a card. Should remember that. So now his turn after all that. He is going to try and attack a worker. He can't do that. There's no space with just a worker on it that is in range of his stuff. So he's going to move a worker. It's going to be this one furthest away. And it's going to move... Where will it move? I think here. That's the neighbourhood of the most. And then he is going to get 3 combat power, so that pushes him to 16, and he gets to put another star on the board. So he now has 4 stars, and he gets some money, and I get a combat card. And the star moves once more, so next time it's going to be another star for him, and that will be his 5th. I think, all right, I'm going to take my new action. So I'm going to pay a combat card. Let's pay this 2 here. And I can gain 3 resources. Let's gain 2 food and an oil. And then a movement action. I think I'm going to move this mech from here. And do I want to do combat, or I could just take out a worker, but I would lose popularity. And I'm kind of thinking, am I going to get into the next stage of popularity? Maybe I should just stay down here. I could move my character 2 spaces actually with this movement. And then they can be on an encounter. So let's do that and then see what happens. So let's see what the encounter is. Oh, here we go. We can repair a broken fence to secure the pigs, gain 2 food and a popularity. Disassemble the mech for spare parts, pay 2 to gain the resources. Startle the pigs to start a stampede. We can gain 2 popularity, a worker, and pay 2 popularity to gain a worker and 3 metal. I think gain 2 food and a popularity seems nice. So that kind of changes my warmongering thoughts, because now I'm on the threshold of this level, and this basically means at the end of the game how much money you'll get for stars, territories and resources. So Automa, he's in that faction, so he's going to move a worker, and it's going to be this worker down here, I think. Then he's going to gain a combat card and a mech, and I don't gain a coin because I don't have that bonus, but the Automa does get another star. So now I think I'm going to move because I would like to get another structure built. So I can move 3 different things. I am going to move my character on here, and let's have another encounter. So, go fishing with the soldiers by posing as locals. I can gain 2 food and a popularity. Pay 4 to deploy a mech. Well, that's no good to me. Pay 2 popularity to gain 2 food and 2 metal. This top one, I think. Let's get 2 food. And then we gain a popularity. So we are now in this threshold up here. So that was the first movement. So the second movement, I think I want someone to stay controlling that. So someone should stay there. And then let's move one of the mechs, actually. Let's move one of the mechs and a worker onto this farm, because then maybe we can put another structure on it, because we need structures on farm and tundra, so we need a new space for something to be built on. And now we get to building. I have 1 wood and a 2 value combat card. And let's build the armory on this new farm that we've moved to. I get 2 money for doing that. The Automa is going to go for an encounter if it can. And so the character is going to move all the way back here to an encounter token. Then he can't gain a worker, he gains 2 money. And the star tracker moves, so he puts another star on the board. That is his last star, and he has ended the game. Oh dear, I wasn't expecting that. I should have seen that coming. Okay then, so let's go to the scoring then. So first we look at stars, and I only have 3 on the board. I really kind of diversified way too much. I didn't do my objectives. See, I've got 1 worker left, 1 structure left. If I'd concentrated a little bit more on things, I could have got more out there. I think that's going to cost me. So I will get 12 for my stars. And 6 times 4, that's 24 for Automa. Then we look at territories, and 3 per territory. Let's see, Automa has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times 3, that's 27. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The factory counts as 3, so I get 30. So a little win there for me, but it doesn't really make up for the 12 I lost on stars. Resources. Now, the dummy player does not score these, so resources. I have 2, 4, 6, 8 resources. Divide by 2, so that's 4 more coins. And the dummy player also does not get structure bonuses. And I only managed to build 3, so that's 6 more for me. And I will just count all of this up. And after I've counted it all up, I got 20, 40, 63. But Bjorn over here, 69. And there we go. That is Scythe. So I think it's back to easy mode for me. But as I said, I did some silly things here. I've got so many things going where I'm nearly done, but I should have noticed that the Automa was so close to finishing the game and getting its 6th star out. Even, you know, what was it? 63 to 69. So 6 points. That's a couple more territories. If I'd spread out a little bit more, that's, you know, getting one more worker out or getting one more structure out. If I planned it a bit better, I probably didn't need to go over here and do this action. Or I should have taken one of these other actions, this one here that would let me enlist and do upgrades. I could forfeit the popularity to just get some stars out. But there we go. Learn from my mistakes and do it a lot better. But I hope this gave you a good idea of what the solo mode of Scythe is like. Like Between Two Cities and Tuscany before it, the solo mode is fantastic. And I'd say this is the best so far out of the Stonemaier Automa systems, and it's just fantastic. I'm just getting to grips with it still. I've had to make this video in a hurry, but I've really enjoyed the solo so far, and this is just normal difficulty. It gets harder than this. It gets to a difficulty that apparently the team can't even do. There we go. What is it? Automa Cisna and Ultima Cisna. And you can see there, that is just really short space. It moves over water straight away, and it's going to catch up to you very quickly on here, so you'll really need to focus and get your engine going. And inside this, the faction map will be different every time. Your player map will be different, so these actions on top are in a different order, so different actions on top will get you these different bottom row actions, and the bottom row actions all have different kind of values, more money for doing certain things. Everything's different. There's a lot of variability in this game, and I am really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to play it in different player counts and at higher difficulties in the solo mode. So that was Scythe. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you for the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.